I hit rock bottom harder than I ever imagined. And the painful truth is, I did it to myself. There comes a moment in life when everything breaks at once. Your money disappears. Your confidence collapses. Your plans fall apart. And you are forced to face a reality you don't want to admit. That moment teaches you something simple but brutal. If you don't change, nothing changes. Hi, I'm JP. And this is the story of how I destroyed my finances, piece by piece, and how I began rebuilding my life from the very bottom. It's not a story I tell lightly, but if my mistakes can save someone else years of pain, then they're no longer wasted. Chapter 1. Where it started. I grew up in a home built on discipline and hard work. You study, you get a job, you keep your head down. That was the path laid out for me. My dad was a sharp salesman with natural confidence. He could walk into a room and immediately own it. I looked up to that. I wanted that certainty, that presence, that belief. My mom was the financial backbone of our home. Quiet, steady, and incredibly disciplined. She understood money not as a dream, but as something that needed to be respected. She taught us about budgeting, about tithing, about tracking every cent. I can still picture her at the kitchen table, writing out her expenses in a notebook, checking numbers twice, making sure every dollar had a purpose. She believed that financial peace came from order, and she was right. But back then, I didn't realize how important emotional control really was. Because money isn't just numbers. Money is behavior. Money is emotion. Money is discipline. And that was something I didn't understand at all. Chapter 2. The Hook. One day my mom and I attended a Forex information session. It was one of those events filled with bright screens, big promises, and confident presenters telling you they've cracked the code to financial freedom. We didn't walk in greedy. We walked in hopeful. Hopeful that maybe there was another way to build a better life. Something more flexible. Something more empowering. My mom joined the trading course first. She had retired early and wanted something that would challenge her and maybe bring in a little extra income. But trading was unkind. She struggled with the emotional side. The market punished every hesitation, every fear, every moment of doubt. And eventually, she lost over $10,000. Money she couldn't afford to lose. Money that included my contribution too. We walked away shaking our heads, saying, "This isn't for us." But even though we walked away physically, something had already taken root inside me. A dangerous idea that money could be made faster, easier, without the slow grind of traditional work. And that idea would come back for me. Chapter 3. The worst decision of my life. A few years later, I stumbled across an advert for binary options. It promised what every struggling, bored person secretly wishes for. Simple trading, quick profits, a better life in just a few clicks. And like so many others, I fell for it. This time, I didn't test the waters cautiously. I didn't think logically. I didn't manage risk. I didn't manage anything. I dove in head first. No strategy, no structure, no discipline, just emotion. Pure, raw, uncontrolled emotion. I chased losses like a gambler in denial. Every time I lost, I told myself I could win it back with one more trade. One more push. One more risk. Fear controlled me. Anger controlled me. Pride controlled me. Everything except discipline. And over 12 brutal months, I lost $15,000. But it gets worse. Because I didn't stop. I took loans to keep trading. High interest, bad terms. Debt stacked on debt until it felt like I was drowning. My financial life collapsed long before the money ran out. I was emotionally exhausted, spiritually drained, ashamed, and completely trapped. Eventually, I hit my credit limit. No more borrowing, no more trading, no more excuses, just consequences. That moment, the moment I realized I had destroyed everything, was the beginning of rock bottom. Chapter 4. The Breaking Point. Quitting my job was the worst decision I made during that time. I quit because I believed trading would save me. I quit because I was desperate for escape. I quit because I thought I was smarter than I was. Instead, I fell into 8 months of pure survival. 8 months of eating cereal and bread because that's all I could afford. 8 months of borrowing money from my parents just to pay bills. 8 months of waking up every day feeling heavy, hopeless, and lost. Financial destruction breaks more than your bank account. It breaks your confidence. It breaks your identity. It breaks your sense of direction. This was my lowest point. My moment of truth. My breaking point. But rock bottom has a purpose. It strips away everything fake, everything distracting, everything that wasn't built on truth. It leaves you with one simple question. Who do you want to become now? Chapter 5. The Slow Climb Back. When God sent me a job again, it wasn't glamorous, it wasn't exciting. It didn't make me feel proud, but it gave me something I desperately needed: stability. I worked. I paid off loans. I slowly rebuilt my confidence. Some days felt like progress. Other days felt like punishment. But I kept going, because there was no other choice. Piece by piece, I dug myself out. Not quickly, not dramatically, just consistently. And after years of discipline, years of sacrifice, and years of repairing the damage, I paid off the last of my debt. For the first time in years, I could breathe again. Chapter 6. New Beginnings. Things began to shift when I found a better job. Higher pay, more opportunity, more responsibility. And during that time, I met my wife, a blessing I will never take for granted. We made a decision together. We would never fall into a bad financial position again. We paid off her credit card debt. We sold things we didn't need. We saved for our wedding. We built healthy financial habits. We worked as a team. Life wasn't perfect, but it was stable. And for someone who had lived in chaos, stability felt like wealth. Chapter 7. The Journey to Growing Freedom. Over the years that followed, I kept studying trading, but this time with discipline, with patience, with emotional control, with respect. I made mistakes, but I learned from them. I adjusted. I improved. I grew as a husband, as a father, as a man, and as someone determined to finally build a life of financial freedom the right way. This channel is the next step in that journey, a way to document the climb, a way to share the lessons, a way to help others avoid the pain I created for myself, a way to turn my failures into fuel. Conclusion, and why this channel exists. I've made more financial mistakes than most people will ever admit. I've been desperate. I've been broke. I've been ashamed. I've gambled my future. I've borrowed to survive. I've lived on almost nothing. But today, I'm rebuilding. With intention. With discipline. With purpose. And if you're struggling, if you're drowning in debt, if you feel stuck or lost, please hear me. You can rebuild. You can rise again. You can regain control. One step at a time. Real journey. Real lessons. Real freedom. I'm JP, and this is where my new chapter begins.